Jeremy Skinner, welcome to the Charles Owen experience.
Thank you for having me.
Owen, what's going on? You've actually beat Owen O'Flanagan in competition. Do you want to replace him? Let's make it the Charles Skinner experience. We don't need Owen anymore.
Look, if you can move it to Australia instead of in grey, miserable UK, then we can
We'll think about it. So what happened? You've actually beat Owen O'Flanagan in competition back in the day.
Look, I know we're going to roast Owen a little bit. To give him a small out, this was before he got really damn good at Jiu Jitsu.
Okay.
This was, I think this was in 2019, before he'd gone on and won 88 kilo trials and stuff like that. So I think we had a match at 83 kilos. Owen's telling me he took the match super seriously right beforehand. He was he'd given up cigarettes for about 2 weeks.
That's big for him.
Yeah.
That's a big deal, man.
So it made me scared. And, he came out, he got a good body lock pass on me to mount. I hit a really ugly looking kipping escape and eventually ruined his instructional sales for the following week because I inside heel hooked him. Apparently he was coming out with leg locks for dummies or something like this, a week later.
And you just fucked him over, you got him with the leg lock.
That's it.
With his own weapon.
Yeah.
Sick. How long have you been doing Jits for?
I started in 2011 in Newcastle, Australia. I started at Hunter Valley Martial Arts.
You grew up in Newcastle?
Kind of. It was Central Coast, Newcastle, Canberra. Family moved around a little bit because of dad's work and mum wanting to be closer to family at different points. We moved around a little bit, but yeah. I'd say sort of Central Coast, Newcastle.
Okay, nice.
So I started doing jiu-jitsu in a karate gym where they had jiu-jitsu sort of twice a week. I remember my mum was wanted me to always do some sort of sport, and there was a year where I was well, I don't really feel like doing soccer anymore. And she's okay, we have to do something, so do karate. And I saw, just a jiu-jitsu class going on. I thought, oh, that looks pretty sick. And I remember my first class was just on north-south escape, so that was
pretty.
Yeah, I think it was that was my first class on jiu-jitsu, and I think a week later, a fat guy, sweat rolled off of his belly fat into my mouth, and I thought, it can't get any worse than this. So it's all uphill from here, and it's gone pretty well.
Yeah, it's gone pretty well. And then when did you start training with Giles? Because I think just recently today found out you're a black belt under Lachlan.
Yeah, so the first time I trained with Lachlan was in 2017. So sort of the story there is there's a guy at Absolute MMA called Mikhail Yahaya.
I love that guy.
Yeah. I love Mikhail. And
shout out Mikhail, we love that guy.
And we had a match at a Grappling Industries in Sydney, and I remember we had a really cool match. Mikhail won the match, and afterwards he's oh, you should come down to Melbourne and train. And this was when I was a blue belt at the time. I think this was end of 2016, something like this.
Yeah.
And went and visited Absolute in 2017, right at the start of the year. So this was before really Lachlan had taken off, Craig had taken off. They were really good Australian competitors, but they hadn't really had any sort of big international breakouts yet. I don't think the sport was at a stage where it was sort of easy to do that either. Like social media and things like that are much bigger now.
Yeah.
So I think shortly afterwards was when Craig had a pretty good performance on the EBI, where I think
the Gordon one, yeah.
No. So he actually had one before that.
Okay.
So this is the thing. So he actually had a good run on EBI, but the one before that, which was before the ADCC 2017.
Before he beat Leandro Lowe.
Yeah. So I don't know if you've seen
that's the Kazakhstan one, yeah.
Yeah. So actually no, I think that was Finland.
Right.
I think they did the trials in Kazakhstan though in the lead up to that.
That's when he beat Leandro Lowe in the trials, no?
No. So it was first round at ADCC.
Got it.
So they had ADCC 2017. Craig pulled Leandro Lowe first round. I think Giles had Lucas Lepri.
Right.
Or it was either Lepri or JT Torres. I can't remember. One of the two.
Tough round.
Yeah, exactly. Because you're we're Asia Oceania. We always pull super tough competitors first guy. You're going to get the number one or the number two seed. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's why Giles has always pulled Lucas Lepri, JT Torres,
Rotolo.
Yeah, exactly. It's always a tough first round. You're normally going to get the returning champion.
Yeah.
And so for that same reason, I think Craig pulled Leandro Lowe first round. I think it was Lowe was the number one seed for the division. I think it was also Lowe's first time doing ADCC. He hadn't really done too many no-gi competitions before. I think he'd had a super fight against Gordon Ryan where he was meant to go against. Oh, who was it? I think it was he was meant to have a match against Braulio at one of the trials where they put it on as a super fight or something like this. And I think in the warm up, I think it was Braulio. Braulio got injured, tore his hip or something like this.
Oh,
and
shit.
So
couldn't go out.
Yeah, exactly. Literally in the warm up, and I think Gordon was there at the event and was okay, well I'll jump in. And so they had like a 40-minute super fight or whatever it was.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So before that, so early 2017, I think Craig did EBI, and I think I don't know if you've seen it. He had a match against Darragh O'Connell.
No.
Where I think he armbarred him, and then there was like a weird stoppage where like Eddie called stop even though Darragh hadn't tapped or anything like that. Right. And then so like they reset, and I think Craig heel hooked him. So this was sort of like way back then when I started training with like Lachlan and Craig. And yeah, like so before like sort of really things took off. And yeah, so it was all like just thanks to Mikhail that I ended up like training in Melbourne. And it was kind of like by accident. Like I wasn't really thinking, I'm going to make jiu-jitsu like a career or anything like this. Never done super fights or anything like that before. I kind of just did it just because. You know,
how old were you when you started training with McKay? 18.
I think I was a little bit older than 18. I might have been 21 because I'd started when I was 16, and I think this would have been. Actually, no, I might have been older than that. I might have been 22, 23.
Yeah, 6 years after Jiu Jitsu.
Yeah. So it was like a couple of years in.
And you were like, I want to do this full time? You just knew?
Not even that. I kind of just visited because I was like, Mikhail's really cool. He let me sleep on his couch and stuff for a week. So this is where I met like Adam Jones.
Yeah.
There's a funny story there. I think that's also when Adam had like just started seeing his wife Ash.
Okay.
And I remember, I don't know if this is, you know what, this is fine as a podcast story.
Yeah.
So there was like the three of us in Mikhail's place. There was like me, Mikhail, and Adam, and Mikhail left the place just fucking putrid, like filthy, like pubes all over the bathroom, like piles of dirty dishes, like shit everywhere. And I remember we'd gone to training one day, just the three of us. We came back. Ash had like come to like visit Adam.
Yeah.
And she cleaned up the whole place.
Like, she's fucking fuming.
Scrubbed all. No, she wasn't even fuming. She just did it because she was just kind of like sick of a pigsty. So like, you know, it's scrubbed the piss that'd been like caked onto the toilet seat, like all that sort of stuff. Cleaned everything, washed every dish.
Yep.
And yeah, I remember like coming back, and it was like I didn't even make the mess, and I felt so bad. I was just like...
Mackay, that little piece of shit.
Yeah, love the guy.
Love that guy.
I don't know how we've ended up on this topic, but...
I think we're just talking about jits and like actually the implementation of getting... Like, how did you go from, I kind of like this to I want to do this full time, and then like you started taking it more seriously? Yeah,
so there's sort of something to that. I think there are a lot of people that want to get into full-time anything with the assumption that they're going to be successful at it, but it's only worth sort of getting into it full-time if you're actually enjoying the process.
Yeah.
Like the real measure of sort of like, should you do something full-time is like, if I'm not successful at this, would I still be happy that I did it? If that makes sense.
Okay, that's good.
So for me, it was kind of just like, I was just enjoying jiu-jitsu and like going harder and harder into it. And then I just happened to be having success along the way, or like getting to a point where I started having success.
Yes.
But it's like, I still enjoy jiu-jitsu. Like if I didn't do all the things that I've done up until this point, I still would have enjoyed the whole process.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like,
What do you enjoy most about jits?
For me, I like the skill development and like the sort of like the problem solving that comes with jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Like there's like, you know, probably like you get the endorphins from like the physical activity and things like that and the social side of it. But I guess like...
Seeing the boys.
Exactly, yeah. Like I enjoy like, you know, going to training with my friends and things like this. Like, you know, like Joseph's coming into town. I'm like keen to like train with him because I'm like, I'll get to like, you know, hang out with someone who's like really interested in jiu-jitsu as well as a friend of mine.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd like it as much if I had to train with people I didn't really get along with.
Yeah, you just kind of get in and get out. You'd still do it, but you'd be like, this is not as fun.
Yeah, like, and I this is something I've spoken to like students about where they want to sort of pursue professional jiu-jitsu and they've got in their head like, well, I should go and train at this place because I'm going to get really good training here. It's like, well, yes, but you should also see if you like the people, because I think if you don't like the people you're training with and you've got to sort of, you know, like you're on like your 4th or 5th day in a row of like really hard training and you're kind of like getting up and you're like, fuck, like, do I go to training today? It's a little bit easier to make the decision to stay home and like not go and train that day if you also just don't like the environment that you're training in. Like it's harder to motivate yourself to actually get out there.
That's a good point I didn't really think of. Like people who are like, yeah, I'm just going to go to Austin and pick my bags up and just go here. It's like, you don't know if you're going to get along with those people.
Yeah, like I really like training with the guys at B Team, but it's like not everyone's going to like that training environment. Like it's not for everyone. Like I personally, it's like a really good training environment for me because I like the fact that I can walk into the training room, I can just sort of walk around and ask people different questions. Some people are going to prefer like more structure, for example, or other people just like simply want like different personalities that they'd rather be around.
Yeah.
And like these are all things that are like sort of hard to measure, and you just got to enjoy the training environment you're in, just so that way you can actually just enjoy what you're doing every single day.
Yeah, and then naturally you get better because you actually want to spend more time there.
Exactly. Like you're motivated to be there because you're like, well, I don't really want to like, I'm not necessarily super into like training super hard today, but I'm still going to go anyway because like I get to see my friends and I get to enjoy myself while I'm there.
Yeah.
And so like I think with like the pursuing full-time jiu-jitsu, like this is like just overall enjoying what you're doing is super important for that reason, because it just keeps you wanting to keep doing it. Jiu-jitsu doesn't really pay enough for it to be worth doing if you don't enjoy it.
100%.
Like if I wanted to, if I was like doing it, well, if I wasn't enjoying what I was doing, there are so many easier ways to make money. like why the fuck would I do jiu-jitsu? Like just go and do something else, and you can like you know I think I live like pretty comfortably, but it's like if I put this amount of effort into anything else, like I'd make way more money.
Yeah. Yeah, but you wouldn't enjoy it as much. Like
exactly.
Finance or whatever, you'd be like, you can make way more money, but fuck, I hate this.
Exactly. So that's why like you've got to make sure you actually enjoy it then, because it definitely isn't going to pay off like the way it could, like other things could.
Talk to me about Atomic Dojo. What's going on there? So that's your bizarre. How did you start it? Why did you start it? What is it?
Yeah. So Atomic Dojo it's sort of evolving over time, but it initially started out as like just a Telegram group where it was like people could ask questions and like send technique videos through. People send through like their footage for reviews and things like this. I'm trying to build up like an actual website now where it's going to be easy to access the content, but I always want to keep sort of the community side of it there. Like it makes it more enjoyable for me, as well as it's sort of what stimulates like the content, like getting created. So basically it's like basically like a more organic form of like instructionals, where instructionals sort of by the videos, you get talked at for anywhere from 2 to 8 hours, depending on whose instructional you buy.
11, yeah, more. Yeah.
And you get...
Painful.
Painful. There are some where you've got to watch them on fast forward for sure.
I bought 8 instructionals, maybe more. I've watched a quarter, maybe the first quarter of one. And I was like, I'm not going to do this.
Yeah, like I think the stats on it are for instructionals is it's like, I think it's something like 10% of the instructionals bought actually get watched, at least on BJJ Fanatics, something like that.
It must be that, yeah.
Like it's shockingly low. So
Lucky's is decent. Submed is pretty good. That course format seems to work well.
Yeah, but like I know people though where they've told me how many instructionals they've bought, and it's like they're like, oh yeah, I've got like 20 of like John Danaher and like whoever's instructionals, and I'm like, I know they haven't watched them.
Yeah, of course you have. It's like someone buying heaps of books, but look at all my books I've got here. You're like, you fucking tell me about that one. Nah, it's all good.
I was saying exactly that to that today is like, it's like it was like more of a conversation about like YouTube algorithms and things like that. But it's like
this is still going. Keep telling me.
But like people will buy books to look like they read books, but they don't actually read them. Like the same way like someone probably buys the instructionals just to say that they've bought them.
Absolutely. Again, look at my instructional account. I got fucking heaps of them.
Like, and it doesn't matter if they still suck at jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
But the idea with like Atomic Dojo was more to make it about like someone can come with like specific questions or broad questions, things like this, and then they can also send through footage, and I can give them probably more personalized sort of feedback on that. But rather than doing it all one-on-one, I think when you have stuff in a group setting, ideas are a lot more, there's a lot more like sort of like stimulation of ideas when it's in like a group setting. Like if you like look at like sort of anything, when people work in a group, there's just going to be more ideas that sort of get thrown together versus like you work everything one-on-one.
Brainstorming work seems to tree off better.
Yeah, like even if it's not like everyone pooling their knowledge together, but it's like someone asks a question which triggers a question from someone else, which answers a question that someone else didn't even realize that they had. Like, and so everyone sort of gets to share like in what they're asking, and like they can sort of bounce even like their questions off of each other. And what's cool in the group actually is like a lot of the guys, like the members will talk to each other, and like someone will ask something, and because of like time zone differences, like someone else actually be like, oh, hey, here's the video here, or here's a match where I saw this. So
they start answering their own questions.
Yeah, and so I like that I have this sort of community aspect to it, because then also on top of that, because people are sort of familiar with each other, we've done stuff like after ADCC, organized like open mats and things like this, like which has been super cool. So we've had like an Atomic Dojo open mat, which was like where people from like all around the world. Like there's a couple of the guys from like the UK, for example. Like people from different parts of the US. I find the community aspect of it really rewarding.
Ape strong together, mate.
That's it.
Ape strong together.
What's that clip from The Simpsons? I hope this doesn't get me cancelled, but
bro, we've said worse things on this podcast, man. Did you see Owen's instructional name? Schindler's List.
Oh.
So good.
Well, I was gonna say, what's that clip from the Simpsons where he's like, "Oh, together we're like we're a bunch of weak sticks, but together we form like a mighty faggot."
Yeah, together we form the mighty faggot. That's it, the mighty faggot, man. A bundle of sticks. A faggot is a bundle of sticks, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Fucking faggot.
And then it means nothing else.
Nothing else.
Nothing else controversial or insulting.
What are your thoughts on the ecological approach and task-based games? So,
I think people can be dismissive of when someone presents a new idea or an old idea in a new way. I think there is a place for like the ecological method. I think like not every technique or skill needs to be necessarily taught in the same way.
Yeah.
Like there are certain aspects of there's certain techniques where like different aspects of it you'll probably pick up in different ways, and like certain techniques require more or less amounts of detail depending on what it is.
Yeah.
Like an example of like, you know, we generally want like certain techniques taught with a lot of precision, while some techniques, because of the nature of them, say like wrestling techniques, you can't necessarily teach them with the same amount of, all right, now place your hand precisely here, because it's very fast twitch and stuff happens too quickly.
You usually be able to relax and be flowy.
Yeah, so like different techniques required them being taught in different ways, and even different aspects of techniques required them being taught in different ways. So like, say for example, I'm in like a top half guard.
Yep.
And like I know that he might try and bridge towards me, or maybe even try and like knee lever me away from him. Like he could maybe try and sweep me in two different directions. And we can sit there and I could maybe try and point out the subtleties to you that I sort of notice when I think he's about to do one or the other, and how I ready myself for that.
Yeah.
Putting yourself in a situation a couple of times is probably a more efficient way to learn it, because you don't have to then think about what the guy's doing, and you can then start to feel it.
You feel it, yeah.
Yeah, like and you'll hear like a lot of old school guys talk about this. Now I think people go then go, you'll hear like some of the old school guys talk about, oh, you just sort of feel it out. They go too hard the other way, where it's like they're sort of trying to make up for the fact that they've just got shit coaching abilities.
Yeah.
Like that, so there's sort of like a give and take to it. It's like, I think some stuff should be taught ecologically, but like, I don't think we necessarily need to go hard in that direction.
Yeah, they're pretty dogmatic in their approach, some of these fellas, aren't they?
Yeah. And
Can be.
This is a teammate of mine was just recently training at Roka, and he said like they were talking about maybe some of the things on like ecological method there, and probably the downside to it is the fact that you lose the advantage of sort of like generational knowledge accumulation. So like, if we always train ecological method, how am I meant to pass what I know on to the next generation if like their intention is just to have to relearn all of it? Like,
oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, like otherwise,
like figure it out, just feel it. Yeah.
Yeah, like you wouldn't apply this to any other thing. You wouldn't apply this to engineering, for example, where you're like, oh, let's relearn how to solve this problem. It's like, let's like re-solve the problem ourselves, next generation along. It's like, or you could just tell them what the solution is, and then they go on to solve other problems instead.
Yeah, okay, that's an interesting point.
Yeah, so you sort of lose. Like, imagine like you know, like you've got a background in like PT. Imagine if like instead you just said, oh, pick up that weight. Like you'll work out how to pick it up the way that you need to.
Yeah.
Like I'll give you some specific, like maybe I'll give you some pointers on like what to do, but largely I'm going to leave it up to you.
Yeah.
Or
lift it up. Get the bar. Like going to a deadlift. Just stand underneath the bar and get the bar to your hip. That's it.
Yeah. Like and you'll be like you'll find your own way to get there. Like
yeah.
Like you kind of lose the advantage of like what's the point of view.
Yeah.
And like I know like there's also aspects to it where they're like, okay, the reason you have the coach there for the ecological method is they're meant to put certain constraints on it and things like this, but you still lose a lot of the advantage of having a coach, which is someone who can actually like more specifically guide you to where you need to go. But that doesn't, again, like it doesn't mean that necessarily like you should never use ecological method. It's just like there is a place for it.
There's a place, yeah. Like maybe it serves as a good warm up, or maybe it serves as like maybe this is the right time to use it. Or that's like You don't just go solely. We're gonna do this one thing.
Like I think ecological, there are aspects to it where it's like, it's also good for discovery.
Yeah.
Like you just play around the position and you like you do come up with like new solutions to problems. But like the idea is then you should note that, pass it on to the next guy. And then they maybe do some ecological to then like discover new things on top of that.
Yeah, like I found that when I do, if I get this frame,
Yeah.
that works effectively.
Exactly.
We're
Like,
gonna
and
try
this is
that,
how we
yeah.
like add to the pool of techniques that we have.
Got it.
So maybe that's like a bit of like a diplomatic and slightly boring answer to the question, but
No, it's a good way of thinking about it, mate. Talk to me about your strength training, boss.
Yeah,
What's going on?
so
What does it look like?
I've had like the last 4 weeks off lifting because of holidays and injury, but
Yeah.
I just lift twice a week. My coach Elliot Taylor will take me through a session twice a week. He said he's actually spoken to you a little bit.
The name rings a bell.
Yeah, so he said like he takes actually a lot of inspiration from like your coaching, and I remember we had a conversation one time where he was like talking about like, okay, why do you do things this way versus this way? And like this, like he said like, oh, like he prefers to do things a certain way, but like he like draws like a lot of like inspiration from your stuff.
Oh, cool. Shout out Elliot Taylor. I think the name does ring a bell, yeah.
Yeah, so Grapple Strike Move is the brand.
Buy their programs.
Exactly. and so he does the programming as well for David Stoilescu, who's a super high level competitor and also gotten quite jacked.
Cool.
So it works.
Yeah.
The method works.
You lift them twice a week?
Yeah, twice a week. I said to him I had like certain goals with like the weightlifting that I wanted. Like part of it was I wanted to move up a weight division, but I wanted to do it in sort of more specific ways. Like obviously I want to make sure like I'm strengthening all my joints. Like he said, like, yeah, like we're going to have to do a little bit of everything, of course. Like, but I said to him, I wanted to focus more on upper body lifting. And he said, like, basically when he wrote my program, he was like, look, like you get to do the dream program. It's like, 3 sets of 8 for most stuff. It's just mainly upper body. You're getting to do all the cool lifts.
Yeah. Some bench, some pulling, some rowing, all that kind of shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
Bro lifts.
Because I said to him, like, because I think, yeah, like, and I like the fact that like Elliot like works with me on this and like sort of tailors it to like what I need. But I wanted to focus mainly on strengthening my upper body, mainly because Jiu Jitsu, when it comes down to a strength battle, it's mainly between the upper body. Like you'll rarely come across a situation where it's like your legs versus someone else's legs in a strength battle.
Yeah.
It'll be your legs versus their upper body, and legs win that pretty much anyway.
Yeah.
But like where it can become more of a back and forth is when it's a strength battle between the upper body. So this was sort of where my focus was.
Gordon likes doing that as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, and he's talked about like a similar sort of thing where he also doesn't want like his legs to get too thick because like he can't lock body triangles and things like this. And I think there's like validity to that. I don't know.
He's gone right. He can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, but like if you look at like Craig's probably like similar sort of build as well, where he's like most of his mass is in his upper body.
He's got crazy strong hamstrings from what I've heard.
Yeah, like this is the other thing. Like that, and that's he's even when he wasn't as heavy as he was, the strength he has in his legs is ridiculous.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've rolled with him, but I've heard it's just. I mean, you've trained with him a shit ton.
It's fucked. It's like at least isometrically. Like this is like I don't know if you've like heard the Simple Man podcast when they're talking about like who's stronger, like Nicky Rod or Craig.
No.
Isometrically, Craig is definitely stronger.
Yeah.
But
like
when it comes
once he's got you,
exactly like
you're fucked.
But when it comes to explosive and dynamic movements, Nicky Rod easily.
Yeah.
Like, but it's I think it's just like it's a funny thing because like I remember listening to them. They're like, yeah, we think Craig's stronger, and I was listening to them thinking, like undoubtedly, like at least isometrically.
Yes.
But like also like Lachlan Giles is crazy isometric strength as well.
He's got those short limbs, man. He's got those little legs and short arms. So if he gets hold of you, he just fucking
yeah.
He just crushes you, right?
Yeah, like his nickname for the longest time was the Tractor because it's like he wouldn't pass people's guards. He would pull himself through people's guards.
Really?
Yeah, like you watch him like pass in the gi. It's like he's climbing a mountain, just horizontally.
Damn.
And
Levi, I heard Levi's pretty fucking strong.
When I had a match with him, he didn't feel that strong. I'm sure it's one of those things where he has it and doesn't need it. Like he's sort of got that in reserve. But I didn't
faced
feel
him in trials.
Yeah, we had the finals against each other. So in the match, like he didn't feel crazy strong or anything. Like his grips were good, but it didn't feel like his grips were like sticky because he was super strong. They just looked like they were well-placed grips.
Yes.
Like that's how it felt to me
Good
anyway.
technique, yeah.
Yeah, like and I think a lot of times like good technique can also feel like a lot of strength. There's probably also strength behind it as well a lot of the times, but I think like good technique will generally feel pretty strong.
Yes. That's what people get confused with. They're like, I want to get really strong for jiu-jitsu. It's like, well, if you're just very strong everywhere and then you have very good technique, you're going to feel disgustingly strong on the mats. So that's why you just aim to get generally strong everywhere.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Just get strong everywhere.
Yeah. Like it's even just for the sake of just injury prevention, honestly, it seems like it's really, like people talk about like doing like stretching and stuff like that.
It can be helpful. Like I did just gymnastic program for like 4 years and I got pretty fucking flexible doing it. But like, since I got my belt squat, I'm like actually more flexible and way fucking stronger squatting heavy fucking weights than I was stretching.
Yeah, it's...
The thing is, when you're lifting heavy shit, the amount of force that you have to produce and the amount of like fucking neurons that you have to like...
Yeah.
Like even when you're doing a heavy bench, people are like, oh, it's only isolates the chest, you know, blah. Like, go do a fucking heavy bench press. Go fucking max out your bench or like work as hard as you can. It's a fucking almost a full body exercise.
Well, especially when people talk about free weights and the fact that it's like you have all the stabilizer muscles as well that like surround everything. Because like when you do a bench press, like, at least in my experience, it's like, I don't feel it just in my chest. It's like, it's going to be a little bit of everything.
It's fucking everywhere. If you're fucking pushing hard, like, it's going to fucking fry the whole upper body.
Yeah.
Obviously not your back, it's not going to hit your back as much, but the force that you have to
Definitely not your legs.
Definitely not your legs. But the force that you have to fucking generate to be like, duh, it's a hard movement if you're training fucking hard. Or like you watch someone do a heavy squat. Like you actually watch someone put some fucking weight on the bar, squat down and like work hard to get it up. Like it's fucking exhausting.
So I have a question for you then on that, because you mentioned like working hard, because I feel like, where does like something like calisthenics fit into like any sort of physical training, say for jiu-jitsu? Like what are your thoughts on that?
It's really cool.
Cool.
But what I think when you say calisthenics, people just think like push-ups, pull-ups, muscle-ups. Like you can change the angle on things and make them really fucking hard. Like if you're trying to get a planche, like holding a planche, like a planche hold variation for like, 30 to 60 seconds. If you change certain angles on things, or even like 10 seconds, it's fucking hard. Your core's going to be fried. Your arms are going to be fried.
Yep.
Like there's different variations which you can do things. Like trying to get a front lever, going up to the bar and just curling yourself into a ball and getting underneath. You can only hold that for like 10 seconds. And there's like maximal recruitment fucking holding there. It's not going to make you like super, super sore, but there's the benefit that it has to, because I did gymnastics for like straight for 4 years. What it does is it develops, because there's it starts with isometric. So you try and do the position isometrically first, then you try and do an eccentric variation of it, then you'll do the concentric variation of it. Okay. So like, let's say you're trying to learn a pull up. You'll hold the pull up position at the top, 3 times 30 seconds. Once you can do that, you're like, oh, I can do that. You're going to do eccentric, 5 to 10 seconds to the bottom, climb back up, do it again. And within developing doing all of those, the strength that you get in your fucking tendons and ligaments, it's really, really beneficial. But it's the same as lifting weights.
Okay, so that's what I was going to ask you, is like, is there at least for jiu-jitsu, like a difference between like that and like weightlifting, really, in terms of the benefits?
Weightlifting's probably better. No, not probably. Weightlifting is better because it's not as time intensive. Everyone's going to have access to it, and you're going to be more consistent with it. Like learning how to do a planche is sick. It takes ages.
Okay.
It takes ages. Like if you're like, Charles, I want to learn to do a planche, and I'm like, okay, we're probably going to take us 1.5 years to 2 years. And it just takes ages because you got to keep practicing. You got to get all the fucking variations in. You try this, try that. You got to build the hand strength, the finger strength, get into handstand. Like if you're like, Charles, I want to do a 2-minute freestanding handstand by the end of the year. For sure, you could do that.
But like, you could also go and start benching and probably just bench that day.
You could just go bench. Exactly, you could just go bench. You don't need to do a handstand in the gym. Like how I think about strength training is like, what do most people can do in the gym? Because like that's my main priority. When I write a program for someone, you need to think, okay, especially for like the Match Strong subscription program, or if you've got like a program for the masses, what does the gym setup look like? Like if I'm going to try and superset an exercise with the bench press is a gold mine in the gym.
Yeah.
You can't have someone leave the bench press to go do a fucking lat pull down over there, because the lat pull down's also a gold mine. So like, do you know what I mean? You've got to, you can like, but you can do a single arm row with the bench press because you can just stay in that fucking one thing.
Yeah.
And like, same with calisthenics. If you just do a pure calisthenics program, yeah, it's great. But for most people, they're not going to fucking spend all the time learning how to do a planche, learning how to do a single leg squat, when you could just do a really good back squat and a single leg and a Bulgarian split squat or walking lunges. Because there's just as much, if not more, benefit in doing those exercises too.
So like on that as well, like I guess like for jiu-jitsu, this is probably the other benefit of like, say, working with Elliot, is that I don't have to think about what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like he just tells me what I'm doing, I go and do it, and I don't have to think about that at all. Like once I leave there, versus like if I either had to write the program myself or I was doing like calisthenics, I'd probably have to be like having to think about like how this stuff works. That way, like, and then it takes away from thinking about jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Or just anything else.
Just outsource it.
Yeah.
Like, my mate wanted me to fucking clean. He's like, yeah, you can stay in this beautiful house. I'm like, fucking sick. He's like, just make sure it's spotless. I'm like, I'm not doing any cleaning here. I just got some cleaners. So I just hired some cleaners to get in. Because I'm like, there's no way I'm going to fucking clean.
Good for the economy.
Good for the economy.
Just let the money
hire the
go
Australian
around.
cleaners, get them in, and now it's fucking spotless. So it's like, yeah, if you don't know how to write a program for jiu-jitsu, there's heaps of people out there who do. And you just hire them and you go do the program. Like, that's what PTs or like coaches are for.
Yeah.
Like any other sport. I was talking this about with Josh yesterday. A lot of jiu-jitsu people don't come from competitive sporting backgrounds. When you play competitive sport, you have to do S&C, which is why it's funny for jiu-jitsu. People are like, you see all these fucking idiots now talking about like sprint coaching and specific training and jiu-jitsu, judo exercises and shit. It's like, that doesn't exist. If you play like high level rugby or high level football or high level any level of track and field at school, they just teach you, they just get you really fucking strong in the weight room through general strength exercises.
Ellie and I actually spoke about this, and I think maybe you'd spoken about this somewhere before too, is like sports-specific training is kind of a myth. Like they did a study in, I think it was like baseball, where they got them practicing the movement of like a swing, but like weighted or something like this.
It makes it worse.
They got worse at baseball.
Yeah, because I
was just gonna say, because it's like, they I guess they started trying to do the movement the way they think they should versus how they actually do it.
Yeah.
And then like they're just basically building in like bad reps.
Yeah, I mean, where's the baseball swing coming from? It's having good rotation and like fucking strong hips and strong core.
Yeah.
What's gonna get you strong hips? Like some kind of hinge variation, some kind of squat variation where you have to fucking like push the floor away from you, like some kind of jump variation. You'll be good.
I think the other aspect to it as well is like you want to be strong, but it's like still a skill-based sport. So it's like if you turn all the movements into strength movements, you're like going to be giving up on efficiency in like a lot of the things that you're doing. Versus like
a jiu-jitsu movement,
or even like baseball, it's probably still efficiency based. I'd say with like how they swing.
Yeah, dude, everything is technique. Any kind of sport is technique.
Yeah,
and it's just getting better at the tech. Like we were chatting yesterday on the mats, and this is actually a great topic now. Talking about conditioning and cardio.
Yeah.
Like, bro, I gas out so easy, and like I'm pretty fit. You put me on a bike, I'll fucking crush it. You put me on a rower, I'll crush it.
Yeah.
Put me on the mats with high level guys, I'm fucked. Like you saw me. Like we did 2 rounds and I'm just gassing. I'm so exhausted because it's fun for me, and like I do like just fucking spazzing out a little bit. Yeah. But I use so much energy because my technique isn't that efficient. Some things I could, like if I'm going with people who are worse than me, I can be efficient and I don't get that tired.
I mean, your passing felt pretty good though. Like,
yeah,
I know that Owen just like roasts you all the time for not having any jiu-jitsu. Look, Owen, he actually has like some decent passing. Like his camp was good. Lay off him a little bit, please.
I did a private with him just before I came here. That's why. And I remember that one specifically he told me. He told me that, the J pointing. But it comes down to efficiency. How do you get fitter for jiu-jitsu? Efficiency, right?
Yeah.
It's being efficient with your technique and pacing and understanding and timing.
And that's why I think like with the sport-specific stuff, it's like you want to keep the efficiency of the technique, but then maybe add the strength onto it rather than turning into a strength-based move or turning into a cardio-based move. It's like you want to sort of have that as like a separate sort of thing that you're like working on.
Exactly.
If I'm retaining my guard, it's like I'm going to be much better like learning how to like place frames efficiently over like just getting a good bench press.
100%.
But it helps to have a good bench press when
Yeah.
I can't place frames efficiently.
Yeah, like when I was training with Luke yesterday, he got mounts and I just kept shoving him off. Like, anyone gets mount to me, I can shove you off.
Like, it's better to have that and not need it than like need it and not have it.
100%. But then also I'm getting tired. And he's like, I know you're going to get tired, so I'll just get off and then I'll pass again and I'll get mount and you'll do it again. And then you get tired and then suddenly I'm just turning and I'm fucked.
With that, it makes me wonder, like, how would jiu-jitsu change if we only ever had 10-minute super fights versus like you do a tournament and you don't know if you're going to have 2 matches or like 10?
Yes.
Or like, you know, per competition, it's like it changes a lot. Like MMA, for example, they seem like they can kind of train towards like 15-minute like performances or like 3 5-minute rounds, and they can actually turn a lot of their training into being more cardio based like that because they have just a set amount of time they're going to fight for regardless of the event.
That's an interesting point. Yeah, they can just cane it for that specific.
Yeah, like, and they can just be like, all right, I'm just going to be a cardio machine for 15 minutes versus like, I don't know, like if they didn't know on a particular, like, you know, it changed per event whether they're going to do 3 rounds or like 10 rounds or something like this, if that would actually change the way that MMA guys trained. So I'm just throwing random. No,
it's cool. I mean, just basically being fitter and stronger is a great thing. And it just, how Owen describes it is it allows you to train, it improves the quality of your training because you have more capacity to work. Like, even though I'm getting tired, I can recover fairly quickly and then go again. Whereas if I was just not strong or not fit, I'd be useless. Do you know what I mean? I'd just be getting absolutely fucked up on the mats. Whereas like I can kind of hold my own for a little bit. I'll get tired and then, you know, I'll have a bit of rest and I'll go again.
Yeah.
But like, that's the goal. Just get strong and get better at jiu-jitsu. Simple.
Yeah.
Simple.
There you go.
What time do you have to go? You got like 6 more minutes?
Oh, I probably got like 20 minutes. Oh, we'll give it like 15 minutes, I'd say.
Sick. Let's get some. We did have some questions for you, Jazz.
Okay. Jeremy.
Yeah, you hate Jazz. Why
come from the podcast because now people are going to call me
Jazz. Well, people call me Shah now. Shah. So funny. Why do you hate Jazz?
I don't know. My mum named me Jeremy and you're disrespecting my mother.
Skinner. Okay, number 1 op for submitting Owen. There we go. How did he find a seminar in Greece a while back? You like Greece?
Yeah, I love Greece. The guys there were super awesome. I remember afterwards they we sort of went and just hung out on like a rooftop, like underneath like Acropolis. It was beautiful, just like beautiful like evening. Yeah, Greece was awesome. I'd love to go back.
How gay is Saxon Warman on a scale 1 to 10?
Look, like, I don't know. He's a man with a piercing. Like, you tell me.
All right, mate, you're just getting roasted on these. Tips for big forearms, lube or no lube?
No lube, more resistance.
Surprisingly toughest... Okay. Who's the toughest round you had at B-Team?
Oh, fuck.
Joey Chen.
It totally depends. It's like, Joe Chen for sure, like, is...
Everyone says Joe Chen.
Super tough. Probably a tougher round would be like J-Rod if he comes in and he's like trying.
Yeah.
Like I remember there was one like...
Taylor? Did you train for the BT? Oh no, because you did your own.
I trained with Taylor actually, London Grapple. I didn't even know who Taylor was at the time.
When was this?
This was end of 2023 in December.
Yeah.
I remember like Taylor came over, he goes, oh like, yeah, like I've seen you before, like do you want to have a roll? And I think he passed me and like strangled me from the back like 3 times in 5 minutes. And I was like, who the fuck's this guy? and
He went to win trials.
And this was just before he went on to like win trials.
He was training his ass off for that, man.
Yeah. And like, I mean, he got the result. Because apparently it's like, it was exactly that for Taylor for a long time where he's just a demon in the training room, but didn't quite like have the breakthrough in competition.
Yeah.
I think someone said to me, he darsed a friend of mine, Liam Alpang, apparently like the trials before that. And I was like, oh fuck, like I watched that match. I remember like watching like Liam go, because Liam's...
Picked him up and slammed him, yeah.
Yeah, like Liam's fucking good. Yeah. Like, so like, a bit, like I was surprised I didn't even like sort of take note of who beat him. I think I kind of like saw it happen and went, oh, I think like Liam just had like a bad performance. Not like just giving respect to Taylor for being just a demon.
Yeah. He's fucking good, Taylor.
So yeah, Taylor's really good, but I never rolled with him.
Back to B-Team, sorry. J-Rod.
I remember the first time I ever rolled with Ethan Krellinson, I think he just held me down underneath mount for 10 minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
Good mount.
Yeah. Like really good mount. Just like passed me and just like held me there for 10 minutes.
What was he doing to keep you there? Give us share some light on the details. You're a man who loves some details.
I think I was too traumatized to remember exactly what was happening because it was like after ADCC, and I think he'd lost to Josh Cisneros, and I think he was taking it out on me a little bit.
Okay.
No, I love Ethan. I think you'll see a lot of guys doing this now, like sort of crossing their feet underneath the hips, and then like just double hand posting. And this seems like actually surprising, like a tough way to escape from mount. The downside is the fact that you give up the ability to really attack from mount when you do this. Like it's just purely being able to hold someone there. So yeah, Ethan's really damn good. Nick Mattia is a beast. Everyone talks about how good he is. Like, yeah, he's a beast. Damian Anderson, I think he outside heel hooked me the first time we rolled like 3 times. Like there's so many good guys there to roll with.
Yeah.
I know I'm forgetting people, so I feel bad.
Who was the hardest though? Joey Chan.
I mean, I feel like it's a cop-out answer if I say Craig.
Oh yeah.
Like I feel like that's like.
But it was Craig.
Yeah. Like. It's just one of those things where it's like, I remember like he like was playing guard and I would try and like, if I tried to touch his guard, I'd get swept or hurt.
Oh shit.
Like, it's like I actually couldn't do anything. Like people talk about like, oh, I couldn't do anything to this guy. I'd say to you like, oh, I couldn't do anything to Joseph. Like he passed me over and over, but it's like, no, like I actually couldn't do anything.
Shit.
It was just, I felt retarded. But otherwise, Joe
Welcome
Chen.
to my world, man. Welcome to my world.
Yeah, it was like it's confronting to have this feeling of rolling with guys like Joe Chen, where it's like his voice hadn't even broken yet, and like he's passing me 50 times in a round. Yeah. And like I'd just done an ADCC. Like in my head, I'm like okay, like I'm a decent black belt, and I've got this fucking child who just. Is talking shit to me while he like puts my arm behind my back and smothers me like.
Fuck man. Owen Jones? Good rounds with Owen Jones?
So the first time I ever rolled with Owen was when I'd gotten heavier, so I was a lot bigger than him, but he fucking magic sticked me.
What's a magic stick?
Magic stick is like basically you do like you.
Oh yeah, you guys
like,
collabed that post, didn't you?
Yeah, where it was like, what did I get on him? I think I hit something on him, and then he managed to then he went single under pass, forced me to turtle, and he basically did like a spin and jumped onto my back.
Yeah.
He's
crafty, man.
Yeah, he's awesome to train with because it's like he's super open-minded and sort of like plays around with a lot of different ideas and just like comes up with really cool stuff that I would never think to do.
Who do you enjoy chatting with and like brainstorming ideas with at B Team? Obviously, it's got a lot of fun.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, the most would be. It depends for like different things actually. So if it's purely technique based, I like talking to Joe and Craig. I think Craig also has like some really interesting ideas on like how to approach training and like mentality for training, things like this.
Go on.
But like what I find really interesting is he looks towards like a lot of other sports to draw inspiration, like looking at things like basketball, for example, like in terms of looking at like how does a professional team train? What is the role of a coach? Like this is where I started, like it made me sort of start thinking about like the value of Dima, for example, because I think Dima gets like a bit of criticism.
Yeah, he does.
Where like he hasn't necessarily as a competitor done anything. But what I think is really interesting is like if you look at like...
Neither has Danaher though.
No, exactly. So exactly this. And like this is where I thought it was kind of odd because it's like... But Danaher also did get like a lot of criticism early on, but it's like...
it's just the tall poppy syndrome. You go, who the fuck is this guy? And you go, you'll see.
But it's like, if you look at basketball, for example, you have like a basketball team. The coach isn't even as good as the worst player on the team.
Yeah.
And yet he's highly valuable.
Yeah.
Like he's got a place. And so like it really sort of reframed for me, like what is the role of a coach? And so it's less about probably showing someone technique and more to do with like I think like showing them technique is important.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like high level competitors, that's not necessarily the only thing. Like it's more to do with how you structure training. And so like this is maybe where ecological fits in, but more with like the advanced guys.
Yeah.
But I definitely think like a coach should still be showing good technique for the guys coming through. Like this is one of those things where it's like I don't have a concrete answer on it just yet, and it's more like looking at other things.
Still
like
figuring it out.
This is why like I don't throw out ecological method because it's like, yeah, like it's hard to give like a solid answer on these things because you can see so many different things that work. But like, but the point is like I think like Craig's really interesting where he draws like a lot of inspiration from different areas. Like he looks to like MMA for example for like ideas on grappling.
Yeah.
When normally it's like you'd think that MMA is kind of like behind jiu-jitsu in terms of like what to do in grappling.
Good pens though.
Yeah, like exactly. Like that's where you got like a lot of the ideas for like the leg riding from, like reverse Z guard, things like this. Also, I actually really like I haven't had many conversations many conversations with him, but like on this sort of stuff. But like Nicky Rod as well, I actually think is really underrated as a coach, and I could really see like I don't know what the direction of B team's going to be going forward, but I could really see like Nicky Rod like becoming a really solid coach that like
sick
like that I think is like he's got like a lot of really good leadership qualities. I feel like.
Yeah.
And
once his competitive career is like, I'm done with competing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think he's also really undervalued in terms of the techniques that he can show. I think people look at him and assume that it's like, okay, like he's just athletic.
He's fucking
But it's like,
mate.
you go and ask him how he does anything, he can give you a pretty precise answer on what he's doing. And like I remember years ago, like a Polaris, like open mat, like before, like he didn't know who I was, like, or anything like this, but I went up to him like, oh, like, when you're wrestling up, how do you decide going between this technique and this technique? And he gave me a super clear answer. So, like it was to do with like when you like say for example you got to wrestle up. How do you decide if you're going to go for an ankle pick versus like you're going to go for like a single leg?
What did he say?
He said, oh, it's super easy. If their knees like in front of their foot, single leg all day. He's like, if their knees behind the foot, ankle pick. Super simple answer, but concept. Super precise. And I was like, okay, perfect. And so I think, I think he's really undervalued with a lot of these things. I think people see him as just a really good competitor. But
Shout out Nicky Rod. Good fella.
Yeah.
He had a great performance at CJR, didn't he?
Yeah.
He fucking crushed
Well,
it.
that's what I mean. Like, I think you see him also constantly evolving, like, technically. I remember, like, the EBI that he did, I think it was, like, 6 to 12 months before that, he won, like, the EBI Absolute. And it was, like, the first time you saw him in, like, I think, like, multiple matches.
The UFC Fight Pass, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, so there was the UFC Fight Pass, and you also had the actual EBI. I think he was meant to be Giancarlo Bodoni in the finals against him, maybe, but he'd injured his rib.
Something happened.
Or something happened, or I think he was meant to go against Big Dan, something like this.
Yeah, come.
But what was really impressive to me with Nicky Rod in that match was it was the first time you'd seen him submit people using his legs. Like he's put I think it's really cool to see him. Like he has a formula that wins him matches, and he's still adding in new skills, like getting better and better.
Yeah.
Like it was like you'd see him like use variations of triangles and things like this. Like before, he'd been very much like upper body centric in the way that he does jiu-jitsu. Like he uses his hands to pass the guard, he uses his hands to finish people, control people, things like this. And he's adding in like completely different skills to his game, which I think is super cool. So like I think it'd be really cool to see. Like then he has like CGI, for example, amazing run. Like I'd like to see how he continues going, and I'd like to see him have a match against Kynan at some stage.
Yeah,
I think
good match.
That's a sick match to make.
That is a sick. What are your thoughts on CGI 2? It's gonna be sick.
Yeah, the team events. I think that's super interesting. I don't like as far as I'm aware, they're not doing this, but something I think would be really cool for a team event is actually to still have points, but you accrue like an overall team score. So like, you have a bunch of matches that go like the distance, and therefore that's like double eliminated. But it's like, let's say you have like 2 guard passes. It's like you add those points to the overall team score.
Yeah, submissions score very highly. Yeah.
Yeah, like the submission would be like, the main thing. But then it's like the amount of matches you see that go the distance, or like, it's like maybe, an even number of finishes, something like this at the end. Like I think it'd be cool to score, like have the points as like a tiebreaker. But I'm really curious to see like what's going to happen with the teams for CGI, like what actual teams end up in there, like who's actually on the teams, how those teams are going to decide who's actually in. Like, they've been posting about who's like in the potential spots for say like the B team spot.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's so many good guys that could fill each spot. I'm curious like how they're going to decide.
Exactly. And how many people are on the team?
Yeah.
That's going to be sick. Back to Vegas this year, man. Back to Vegas.
Yeah.
Vegas is a shithole.
You know what? Vegas is quite nice when you get off the strip.
You said that, yeah.
Yeah, like I actually like Vegas off the strip. My buddy Robbie was the first one to ever sort of like take me anywhere like off the strip, like, and that was super cool. So like it's actually quite nice, like beautiful desert and stuff like that. Like it's actually quite cool.
Yeah. Did you shoot?
Not that time. So my dad's an arms dealer, so I've done a decent amount of shooting growing up. Yeah. So he, because he used to be an infantry major.
Okay.
And then so he, I think when I was about 4 years old, he got out of the military, and then he did some other work sort of in between that for a couple of years, and then now he's an arms dealer. So if you've ever seen like the movie War Dogs, that idea of like sort of fulfilling government tenders and things like this, where it's like they put out like, okay, well these are like, this is what we want, like who can give us sort of the best offer to sort of fulfill that tender, like that's the sort of thing that he does.
Got it.
So that's for like the police and like the military.
What did you have access to?
You got to play with some fun stuff.
Yeah.
Probably stuff that's probably a little less interesting to like the American audience, but like stuff that you normally couldn't get if you're in like the UK or Australia. So like, yeah, like a lot of like semi-automatic weapons, like automatic weapons, like automatic shotguns, things like this. Stuff with like suppressors.
The automatic shotguns are just fucking savage, mate.
Like a
GTA style.
Yeah.
Right, talk to me about nutrition, because everyone's asking how you got so fucking big, man. Talk to me about your calorie surplus, and what does your nutrition look like now?
So when I'm putting on weight, my calorie surplus is looking at about 4,500 calories a day.
Yeah.
And doing that clean sucks.
Yeah, you're just full.
I wake up, I have like a meal, I spend my whole day full. If I could do it dirty, it's like, that would be super easy, because it's like then you just throw in way more chocolate where you probably shouldn't.
Yeah, you want to do that.
But doing it clean, it's like I'm eating 5 meals a day, and then like I remember when I stopped bulking.
It's a painful fucking task, isn't it? But that's why not everyone gets super jacked, because you just got to fucking eat a lot of food.
It's either that or like you eat dirty and then you die in the process. But and trying to keep like the sodium down, for example, because like even if you're having stuff that isn't high in sodium, when you're eating that much food, it ends up adding up really like to really high amounts, and then you're like, fuck, I've got to get that back down again. You got to find other things to like make sure your like blood pressure doesn't go through the roof.
Yeah.
And then when you stop bulking, you forget what you enjoyed as snacks, because like you don't snack anymore. You just have more meals.
Have meals. Yeah.
Exactly. Like you replace anytime you thought you'd have a snack during the day before, it's like you're replacing it with proper meals. And like you're doing like, the mass gainer shakes and everything on top of that. It's like everything turns into like...
It's a chore, basically.
It just becomes numbers, and you stop eating to enjoy it.
Yeah.
You
just eat. You're like, okay, I need to eat, I need to feel, what am I going to eat? I'm not going to even enjoy this.
And then if you're trying to like travel at the same time, and it's like you're trying to eat and not die, eat and not spend too much money, and make up for days where it's like, okay, well, I was traveling on this day, I was on a flight to the US, like it's 16 hours, and like you only have the in-flight meals, so now I've got to make up for those calories the next day.
Yeah.
Not fun.
Not fun. Did you go see a nutritionist, or you just did some research?
So my dad's an arms dealer. My mum has a PhD in nutrition and dietetics.
Sick.
So like any nutrition questions I have, I can just ask her.
You ask her, yeah. She's got it covered.
Like I'm like, okay, well, how do I eat all these things? Because I try and get blood tests done pretty regularly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, like this is pretty high. Like, what do I need to change to like get this back down, or like get this up?
Yeah, because interesting you said the sodium, and you're like, I just cut the sodium down.
Yeah, that's the easy
blood pressure
one.
down. Yeah, exactly. Do you eat much kangaroo meat? That was a question. So it's actually not nice. Well, it can be okay.
It's okay. I had kangaroo meat over the years. This is like a really weird reason to get thrown off kangaroo meat. When I was a kid, we had a dog that was hyper allergic to everything and could only eat 2 things. You had to cook it sweet potato and kangaroo meat, because it was the only things it could eat that it wasn't going to cause it to have allergic reactions, where it was going to like... Because our dog was like so allergic, she would like chew through her skin because she'd get that itchy.
Oh shit!
Like so she's like...
That's not fun to see.
No, exactly. Like so, like she's on like a really specific diet, and so my mum's cooking like kangaroo meat every single day for this dog.
It stinks as well.
Yeah, strong smell. You just get sick of smelling it.
Yeah.
So like, yeah.
The novelty's worn off.
Exactly.
I might actually get some for the barbecue downstairs. All right. Well-rounded purple belt, but I lack depth. What system/sub position to focus on? Mate, what a hard question to answer without actually seeing him train.
So
welcome to the podcast, buddy.
Yeah. So the easiest submission to add into your game where you would start getting, you can get results pretty quickly without having to add in another skill is probably ankle locks. You can attack ankle locks from top and bottom position. Like you don't need to get to you don't have to have any sort of positional dominance to get to that sort of submission.
Yeah.
So like ankle locks is the easiest way to start adding subs to your game.
Yeah.
Like it's when you take an Achilles grip, it's already control based. So you're already able to hold onto the person a little bit more easily. Yeah.
There we go. One about what's the best configuration with the legs that you can have in a reverse Aoki with a twist lock?
50-50 seems to be the best way. Reverse Aoki as in like a sort of like Woj lock.
Reverse Aoki, twist lock.
So probably 50-50, honestly. There's like a couple of different ways you can play with your legs there, but it seems like 50-50 is the best way to go. It can work with saddle as well, but you generally want to try and get like that external knee rotation using the 50-50. So
a lot of people chatting about the bear trap. What are you liking about it?
Yeah, I think it's good. I mean, you put me there in our role, and you swept me with it. That was nice.
Love the bear trap, man.
I didn't expect that from you. Like you just shot for it, and I was like, oh fuck, he's got some moves.
That's the Los Banditos. Yeah, Joe's been teaching it. He's been teaching the hell out of the bear trap recently.
I think it's good. It's one of the few things. If you watch like a Gordon Ryan match, that anyone has any success with it, success on him with it.
Bear trap
is bear trap. Yeah.
It's an annoying position. If you get it right, you're just like, fuck, because your knee has to turn out, right?
Yeah.
And you're just like, well, I'm not going to break my fucking knee. Gordon did.
Yeah, I was going to say, Gordon was happy to take the pop on that one.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. Like when have we seen like Gordon in that much trouble? Like I think Philippe Pennon might have even swept him with it. I've got to rewatch the match, but it's probably...
yeah, it was that like, oh, did he sweep him as the thing? Yeah.
Yeah, so like I think there's if it's working on Gordon, there has to be some validity to it.
Yeah. I even heard Luke talk about the bear trap yesterday.
Yeah. I like to use it. It's good for taking the back. If you're behind them with it, you can take the back with it. If you're in front of them, you've got sweeping options and submission options. I think it's pretty solid.
What are some good details that you could give people for the bear trap? You're telling me about keeping the foot on the hip.
So probably two things on it. One is like getting the foot inside of your hip. The other one would be is always do it with your legs locked together. Just like that sort of like torque you can put on your knee when your legs are unlocked. People can I've seen people blow their LCLs.
Oh, really?
Like people trying to do that and sort of like matrix guard sort of stuff where they throw it and they've got their legs unlocked because they're sort of like hooking with their foot. The person's standing and they're trying to like externally rotate against resistance.
You want to just lock that up, man.
Yeah, just triangle's good. Try and not force it if they're standing. Find other ways like to off balance them. Like you can hook inside of their hip and stuff like this. Use that to off balance. And once their hands are on the floor and weight's out of their feet, then you're safe to sort of externally rotate because they're not planting their foot into the mat and applying a lot of resistance to your legs. So probably one would be, it's easier to attack with their foot inside of your hip, but two is a safety one is just lock your legs.
When's your next comp?
I have nothing sort of. Well, I think I've got PGF at the end of the year, but before that, like between now and December, I have nothing booked. I'm actually looking at trying to adjust my training to be more skill development focused. So, I train out of Sydney West, or I compete out of Sydney West, and I train there typically like twice a week. But most of my sessions are going to be me coaching. Yep. And I also go and train at like Sydney Wrestling Academy as well, like with Lucas Cannard, Ari Tabak, like Josh also, like heaps of really good guys there. So I go and do my training there and I coach it.
Josh is good, man.
Yeah, super good.
He fucked me up.
He's so good, yeah. Like another guy sort of similar to like Taylor and what like Lucas were before, where it's like really, really high level.
I didn't realize he was that good because I'd seen him somewhere and I was just like, I've rolled he's a big guy, I'll be fine. But he just pinned me on bottom.
That's what I mean. There's so many really damn good guys in Sydney that people have never heard of.
It's exciting to see. I love that for Sydney. I'm loving that I'm seeing more people getting better at jiu-jitsu in Australia.
Yeah. Like I've learned so much training.
Because there's better coaches now, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, that's what I mean. So I've learned so much training under Luke Martin at Sydney West. But
that's a great gym.
Yeah, amazing gym.
So is Sydney West. They're both fucking good.
Yeah.
And they're both like fairly think about that. Like you've got. Sorry. You
go ahead.
Well, you got Sydney West. You got Sydney Wrestling, Absolute MMA.
Yeah.
Like it just within those. Is there any in Perth? Perth's got to pop off at some point, I feel.
Yeah, so there's like, I think like the jiu-jitsu scene in Perth is getting better. Like there's good places to train. Like there's Essence with Jake O'Driscoll. There's like Mac 1 with like CJ Hesk, who's a good competitor. You've got Rod Costa's gym, Costa Academy. Like they're more like MMA based guys. Like Rod Costa's a really good MMA fighter. They've got like Jack Becker. Like so there is like good grappling in Perth as well.
Yeah. But
like at the moment there's no like big gym there, but there is like definitely good grappling there for sure.
It'll get there.
Yeah. But what I was going to say is like in Sydney we've also got guys like Ariel Tabak, super high level, all my guard retention, pretty much all my guard retentions come from him. Like working on my De La Hiva and my guard retention has come from him. My guard retention has come from him for sure, and then a lot of my guard attacks in general now have come from like him, Josh Alsop, and Lucas Cannard. Like just playing like that more De La Hiva based open guard.
Cannard's very good.
So good.
Man, have you trained with this kid called Jude?
Jude Keane, yeah, I coached him for a long time.
He's good.
Yeah, Jude's a friend.
What do you think? His jiu-jitsu is fucking good.
Yeah.
He
really
had
good
this,
ankle lock.
I was saying to Bobby, because we were at training at Grapple. Was it Grapple?
Oh, grappling education. Yeah.
Yeah, we trained there the other day, and he's like, "Mate, go with Charles." But he fucked me up.
Yeah, he's really good.
He subbed me like 6 times, maybe 7 times. And I was
no, he's really good.
These high level guys, they have a feel to them. I'm like, this kid will be fucking good.
Yeah. No, he's really solid. I think he's had some like shoulder problems and things like that, that have sort of stopped him from going and doing like big competitions overseas. Like he had to get surgery on his shoulder and stuff.
Oh, okay.
So that's sort of like, I think that sort of like held him back for a little bit.
Yeah.
But hopefully this year, like you're going to see like him doing more stuff internationally. Like that'll be super. Like there's so many good guys here.
Sabatard.
Yeah, Sebastian just had an amazing performance at Worlds. Fortunately, he got banned for the next year, so he's not doing any IBJJF stuff for a little while.
That's so retarded.
And he also had like some cool matches on PGF as well.
Yep.
So Sebastian's doing really well. Like it's cool to see because he's been going and training at Henzo's in Austin for a decent amount of time now. So like he's been really sort of making the investment into his training, and it's cool to see that paying off.
Yep. The Aussies, mate, they're coming through.
Yeah.
It's fucking good to see.
The Dagestan of the jiu-jitsu world.
Well, the thing is, Aussies are you're forced to play sport when you're a kid, because the weather's fucking nice. Everyone just plays sport. Everyone's outside, so people are just naturally strong. Yeah. You know what I mean? I feel like you just naturally. I think there's a lot bigger people in Australia than when you come to the UK. Yeah. Maybe not America. America's got some big fucking units, and you've got wrestlers there.
When you're in the UK, you don't really want to go outside.
This time of year is shit in the UK. But
you guys have like a week of summer every year.
The summer's hot, mate.
Yeah, for the week that you've got it.
Have you spent much time in the UK for summer?
I can't remember because I just remember it being grey the whole time. I spent about 6 months or so in London when I was 18.
Okay.
Yeah.
During summer?
I can't remember. It was 11 years ago.
It's mostly grey. Yeah, most of the time it'll be grey, but sometimes in summer it can turn up, and it's like light till. Because what I do like about London summers is you get
daylight until 10 p.m.
Yeah, the sun will come up at 4 and it's daylight till like almost 11.
I would have been there during summer then because I just remember thinking like, I'm going to bed and it's day, like it's bright.
It's like that.
Yeah.
At 10 o'clock.
I probably have to jet off.
Let's shoot. Where can we find you?
On Instagram, Jeremy Skinner BJJ, Atomic Dojo. They're the main ones.
Mate, great to see you, man. You guys like, subscribe, YouTube, Spotify. Jeremy Skinner.